Chuck Gannon on today, but technical issues have abounded and stymied that effort. However, I'm sporting 5 bars up here in the middle of Alaska and looking good. I got high res. It's dark out, and it will stay dark until it gets darker tonight. So how about if we just do an open Q&A? We talk about some things, fill some time, spend maybe a half hour chatting about stuff. So I'll reschedule with Chuck, and then we'll talk about what it's like to write in somebody else's universe. Because Chuck's story with the Kane Reardon universe is interesting in that he started publishing traditionally through Baen on books, but then he opened up like an anthology type world where other people wrote books in that series, but through an independent publisher, through Chris Kennedy Publishing. So Chuck is the mastermind, built the universe, and then expanded with other authors writing in that universe. And it went from trad to indie, still the same universe. So it's a great story. And we want to hear directly from Chuck about how he did that. However, Chuck's system is dead, beyond dead. And we had some serious issues trying to bring him up. We spent the last 20 minutes working on it. It didn't happen, but here I am. Anyway, I just wanted to since we had booked some time with you guys today, let's talk. What do we got going on? What did you do with Chuck? What did Chuck do with himself? He had the interesting IR camera going. And also, I don't know if we're streaming live to YouTube because of the YouTube outage earlier, and BeLive was having issues streaming live to YouTube. So we may not be live on YouTube, but we're live on Memorex. So what is going on? I've got a post on Wednesday, pre-scheduled, ready to go, on the Sweet Romance Anthology, the 20 books to 50K Sweet Romance Anthology. 26 authors have come together. We had a great curator team. Lass McMaster, Erica Everest, Mary Mayweather, and Jenna Hendricks as the core of the curator team to wicker and bring the focus of, I think, 119 submissions, 500 word submissions, just to see, does it hook? Does it hit the tropes? Does it set the reader on fire, ready to go through a 6,000 to 8,000 word short story, and narrowed those down until the top final submissions tweaked into 26 authors. And that's what we'll be publishing Wednesday. The paper book back is already live. The ebook is in pre-order. Goodreads has lots of them shelved. It's pretty good. The Steamy Romance Anthology, which will come out in January, that one is one of the top 20 books to be read based on Goodreads shelving. People have shelved enough of those copies that it'll hit. It's in the top 20 of must-be-read books for January. The great thing about the Goodreads shelving, and this is something that I hadn't pushed hard enough, if people put a book on pre-order on their shelf and they're a KU, a Kindle Unlimited reader, then Goodreads sends them a notification when the book publishes. So you don't have to worry about, hey, I hooked them with this excerpt, with this blurb, with this great ad copy, but they're a KU reader. So it's like, I'm not going to buy a book on pre-order because I read it in Kindle Unlimited. But if they shelve it on Goodreads, then Goodreads will send them a notification that it's live. So that's the cool thing about shelving it on Goodreads. So anyway, that's a big push. Sweet and Steamy both have a lot of shelvings on Goodreads. The Thriller Anthology comes right on the tail of it. That's February. Robin Sarkey and I are reviewing the 500 words. I think we've had 45 submissions so far, and whittled down to, I don't know, I think 16 have been invited to submit their full short stories, and feedback given to the other ones on what we saw, what we felt. It's mainly that first impression. Did it hook us? Did we want to keep reading or not? And that's what we're looking for. And then the second round of short stories are read completely by beta readers. These are readers, not authors in any sense, because they give it a different look. Then every author will be biased, will be prejudiced in one way or another. So I removed that variable just readers read that final short story for the thriller anthology and then give us their yes, I liked it, I didn't like it kind of thing. Yes, I like the style, I like the approach, I like the story. So those are the three things going on over at the Independent Alliance Science Fiction Fantasy Authors, IASFA.org. We're doing a monthly 5-day free promo sponsored by IASFA, which is that's an organization I run for science fiction fantasy authors. And it'll be 5 days free. People are piling in their books. We'll just send out a link, funnel everybody to the main IASFA site, where then the readers can download all the free books that are available during that 5 days. The reason we're doing 5 days is so we get both perma-free. It doesn't matter what days we pick for perma-free, but by giving the heads up on the 5 days, then people who are in Kindle Unlimited can also get their books into this promotion. So helping out there. So we've got 12 different promotions there, as well as some bundles. This is not pizza. This is Rush, man. Roll the bones. Roll the bones, man. Jamming the Rush. A couple different promotions, full book promotions for fantasy as well as science fiction for a book bundle where they cannot be in Kindle Unlimited because it's a 2-week, 3-week run of here, buy everybody's book. Here's what we got going on. So it's books that cannot be free. It's because we're going to charge. That's a money-making opportunity. Anyway, that's what we've got over there on ISFA here in 20 books to 50K. We will have more anthologies coming this summer. We've got urban fantasy and I think Peener, paranormal romance coming this summer. Summer solstice, of course. It's perfect timing. These anthologies do take a bit of work, but they're a great training ground for learning how to do a full launch, how to engage with other authors, feedback on stories, so you get a little bit of that. And hey, sponsored by 20 books of 50K, we're doing our best to help people, show them what needs to be done, show them what can be done through comments and posts on 20 books to 50K, but then actually engage them in the process with these anthologies. So even if you didn't make the final cut for your story, still stay on board, pay attention, participate with shares, and you'll learn. It's all about learning. It's not about, hey, oh Christ, they didn't like my story, I'm out of here. That doesn't help you. What helps you is, hey, let me be a part of the process watching. You think the guys who sat on the bench freshman year who are starting senior year, they're thinking, hey, if I don't get to play, I'm out of here. No, it takes time. Be a professional. It takes time to learn all the steps and engage. Don't be upset that your story didn't make it. My story got cut, for Pete's sake, but it's not my genre, so I wasn't too miffed about it. Anyway, that's what we got going on there. What else? Do we have any questions? Please ask some questions. Otherwise, we'll wrap it up. Just wanted to say apologies for technical glitches. Google went down this morning. YouTube went down. Some other stuff went down. Middle of Alaska, we're up. We're up with Facebook. We're up with BeLive. We're up with everything. Even YouTube looked like it was back up for me, and Google, for that matter. So, does anybody have any questions? Anything they want to talk about? I probably won't do a 5-minute focus today since I'm live right now. And I don't even remember what I was going to talk about on the 5-minute focus. Let's see, I've got a PowerPoint. I do them in PowerPoint. I know, it's crazy. Let's see, what's the next one? Next one's episode 71. What keeps readers coming back? So this is a little craft, something that I've studied hard and asked my own readers. Why do you keep coming back to my stories? So conference. Oh, big thing in January. I'll be it's looking good for a November 20 books Vegas. So in January, I'll be sending out invoices for those folks who rolled over to cover the remainder of the fee minus $25 discount because of rolling over and doing me a solid there. So I didn't have to generate an extra 500 or 600 refunds. I did process 900 maybe 800, 900 refunds. So a pretty significant number out of the 1,600 who had initially registered. So we're sitting pretty. We'll send out those invoices, and then we'll open up for new people to register. I'm confident that we're not going to have any problems come November, and the show will go on. And the way I'm going to process refunds for that show will be, I'll send all refunds in November after the show, because I'm on the hook for, if we cancel, then I'm on the hook for a $600,000 penalty. It won't cost that. We'll just make the show happen with however it happens, and then that's $300,000 and some that I'm on the hook for, about 330, I think, 350. So we'll do that, and then whatever we don't pay, then we'll process as refunds to everybody and just send a mass refund out, because all the conference fees are the same, so it's easier to do that. Unlike this year where there's so many different fee structures. Oh my God, it's a nightmare. You got to look 3 different places to see what needs to be sent. No questions. All right. 31 people. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Only 1 thumbs up. The technical weenies got me. Technical glitches. Let me try something while we're here. See if I can post. Not sure I can. Yeah, I rub my hands together because it's cold. It's like 65 degrees in my in my office. So I rub my hands together so I have them warm. Or I sit here with my hands in my pockets. Sometimes it gets hard to type because it's cold in my office. It's actually warm right now. It's 11 degrees, but we have 35-mile-an-hour winds. The winds are howling, and it's high humidity, 60%, which is high for Fairbanks. So it's pretty miserable up here. Event in Spain. Spain is getting hit really bad right now, with COVID. They're locking down, and they have canceled a lot of stuff through like May, and that's why I had asked through May, and that's why I asked earlier. Hey, can people do it on 1 month notice? Because we will see if they will be able to open up for visitors, because over half of the people who would come to Spain would be from outside Spain and outside the EU. However, EU, all the countries are hunkering down individually because of COVID-19. So it would have to be everybody outside Spain, which would be like 95% of the attendees. How will they be open for that? We're going to keep our ear to the ground, because right now we can't even ask any of the hotels who would be able to support our event what they could do, because nobody's there. They're closed. So we will see. I am not sure. I probably won't know anything until April or May, and that will be the challenge. It's going to be a last-minute horse race if we do it, even though I sure as hell want to go to Spain and enjoy that. A cruise. Are you stoned? Stoned? Yeah. I'm not getting on a ship. So Spain, it's still in the works. We're still looking for it, but it's all going to be depend on if Spain opens up or not, and we probably won't know anything until well after the vaccines start to take root and the numbers drop. And I want to see them drop right off a cliff, saying, "Oh, great! Look at this, we're nipping it in the bud." Until that, can't get there. March, I'm looking at moving the March drive around to September. Once again, give the vaccine time to work, and drive through and end. I am going to NINC, which is September 22 to 26. So I am looking at doing a drive through and then ending at NINC. So ending in Tampa. So I may not, so I probably won't be doing Travel Ring Roadshow in March. Still want to. And once again, it all depends on COVID. If the vaccine takes root, they issue a couple 100 million doses in the next 2 months, and the numbers drop off and the world starts to tentatively reopen, we could do this again, because I'm higher up on the priority list, so I'll be able to get my vaccine. But I don't want to quit people out or make people have to guess, should I go or not? And that's something I don't want to put people in that position. So we'll do what we can. If March is viable, then March, yes, but probably not until September. for the drive about. But I really want to do that. I want to drive across from Vegas to and I'll drive around and then end in Tampa, or St. Petersburg, on September 22nd. So I'm probably going to shift it to September and then do the drive through then. And that'll be cool. End up right there at NINC. We'll finish there, and then I'll fly to Toronto for a couple days with some good people up there, and pay homage to Rush, and then fly back to Alaska. And then nothing but Vegas 2021 after that. So that's what we're doing. Anyway, no, not going to do anything where I put people at risk. So we're trying. We're doing the best we can, and we'll get out when it's safe to get out. So there we are. Bob's your uncle, right? How are your words coming? I have to say that I've been very prolific the last couple of days. I've got 10,000 words in 2 days. So that's a good number. And today, as soon as I get off here, back to the grindstone, need another 5,000 words. I can finish this book up. I can finish 3 books this month if I maintain not even 60% of that. If I do 3,000 to 3,500 words a day, I will finish 3 books this month, and that is way, way cool. And that opens me up for next year. Next year, I looked at my schedule, what I committed to, and I have like 10 books that I committed to. So I need to get rolling on those, and getting 5,000 words a day would make those all evaporate very quickly, and it would be great. Operator's going well. It's set up for. It is my leading earning book every day now. And come December 26th, when book 2 launches, I'm dropping it to 99 cents for 5 days, and we will see if we can get some traction. I've got a bunch of promos lined up, and that is when we're going to hit it hard, and we should see some big numbers at that point. Book 3, I will write book 3 as soon as I get these 3 books written, and hopefully this month. So hopefully first thing starting in January, I'll be starting on book 3, because I love the operator. I like Ian Bragg and Jenny. Ian Bragg is a non-standard character, because he's your character, kind of like a James Bond, without the Q and the supporting cast, without being a drinker, and his girlfriend is a curvy girl. So it has resonated very, very well with the readership. 3 books for the month. Oh, I've been working on them for months. So this is just tying them all up. I'm at 71,000 on one book. I'm at 42,000 on another book, and at 20,000 on the nonfiction book. So I'm not like, oh my God, let me pound these words. No. I've been working on these a long time. So it's just, and always the last half of the book writes so much better than the first half. It writes so much more quickly, because, hey, I've got my plot threads. I just need to tie them up. So it's just bringing things together. So I always enjoy writing the second half of the book so much better, and it writes a lot more quickly. Plotting and editing at 1 a.m. I've been up since 1:30. Yeah, I get a good night's sleep every 4 or 5 nights, and last night was not that night, so I've been up since 1:30 after going to bed after 8. Yeah, right now coming back to Alaska is a shaky proposition, because you have to get tested at the airport, and then you have to go into quarantine, then you have to get a second test and go back into quarantine. So it makes it a challenge. I've done it twice now, and it it helps you get the words, because you can't do anything else. Hey, get home, and after getting out, so I get energized a little bit. Humanity needs contact with other humans, and so avoiding something like the plague isn't real, because we don't do that, as we found out. All right. Any other questions? Plotting and editing. I tell you what, if you hit a hard point on jamming the words because you've got scenes that are boring, or you're tying a couple scenes together and it's just boring, it's just setting things up, it's really great if you just plot and say, hey, I have another idea for other stuff. Don't go write it, but plot it, hit those highlights, and then get back to, hey, I got to finish this before I can go do the fun stuff that I just thought of. So that's a good opportunity to keep that creative well refreshed and get your words. If you have one pen name that you did not do well, should you start from scratch with a new one? I don't know what not do well means. The only way I would scratch a pen, well, I scratched a pen because people were looking for my books. I've become my brand. So my pen name was supposed to be my military sci-fi. I published military sci-fi under this name, and if I had other co-authors, it would still be under this name, so it would look similar and give the readers a similar experience. But people buy Craig Martelle books; they don't buy C.H. Gideon, my military sci-fi pen name. So I nuked all that, and I just write under my own name now. So I would say jumping from pen to pen, it all depends what not successful means. Just didn't get to sell many books, or did you piss off readers? And that's a different issue. And having a pen name, now you have to do multiple streams of engagement with your readers. What you can do is, if you only have a couple books and you think that, hey, they failed, they weren't good books, they weren't good reflection, and just unpublish them, fix them, and publish them under your own name later. That works too. Reestablish your brand. So this is the one thing you want to do, is you want to always maintain your brand. Ireland. Oh yeah, everybody's locked down now. I mean, doing anything now is a non-starter. We have 3 hours and 50 minutes of daylight today. So we would love to be anywhere other than here. And especially where it was warm, as opposed to 11 degrees, which seems warm, but with 35 mile an hour winds, 60% humidity, it's pretty miserable out there. So yes, we would love to be anywhere else, but we can't be. So next year, we'll see. It's first world problems. We'll see what we can do going forward. Write the sequel. You publish a new book, people love it, they want the sequel. Write the sequel. Tell them when it's coming out, and most importantly, keep them engaged with it. Hey, what did you like about this first book? What do you see the second book showing? What's your favorite character? Just a little bit each day or each week or even a couple weeks, but write that sequel. If people want it, don't piss on them and say, oh my God, get off me. You're putting too much pressure on me. Come on, feed the people who are feeding you. This is the one thing that this is a business group. If you want to sell books, sell books. So you can ride that first book. If it's that popular, keep riding that baby and say, hey, come on board. And then every couple of weeks, even once a month, whatever your newsletter frequency is, talk to them about the next book. Give them little snippets, give them little character profiles, maybe write a 500-word backstory on a character that you're not going to do anything with again. And just, hey, here's a different profile on this character. And keep them engaged, keep them on your newsletter. And so when you release book 2, you're going to get this huge surge of, hey, look at all these people buying book 2. Cool. There's nothing you can ask for better than somebody liking your first book, for Pete's sake. Write the second book, write the sequel. You don't need me to swear at you, do you? Okay. It's a standalone. So what? Write a sequel. Make it a series. Doesn't have to be a standalone. Money. It's also, you wrote that first book because you liked the character, you liked the story, you thought it was ending. Think about how it can open back up again. If you liked it once, you can like it again. And if your readers liked it, hey, let them go on a great ride with them. And hey, you're the conductor. You're showing them the way. It's cool. If you're rapid releasing books, what I would do is I would put out the first book and push it hard, but without being overbearing. And especially if you're KU, hey, read it in KU. Second book, same thing. Third book is when I would drop the first one. And actually, if you want to build traction, you can launch the first one at 99 cents and promote the holy hell out of it with pre-order. Make sure those pre-orders are set for books 2, 3, even 4 and 5 if you already have them. And you can push the holy hell out of book 1 at 99 cents. You can hit all of the promotion sites. And then when book 2 comes out, it comes out at $2.99. And then book 3 comes out, you can put it at whatever your normal price is, $4.99. Put book 1 for free and juice those with with new promo sites like Free Booksy. Even put in for a BookBub featured deal and jam that hard with that free book for 5 days or whatever to get those to get book 3 out of the gate. Juice those sales, book 4, book 5, full price, and just keep pushing. book one at 99 cents. It gives you a lot of opportunity if you have the books behind it. Because this is, if you just publish book one, 99 cents, and you wait a year until book two, you're not going to make a lot of money. It's going to be hard to keep those readers on board. But if you have book two's pre-order set and the date's like 3 weeks later, then rock and roll, hit it hard and deliver. Keep those readers fed, just like the person with the standalone. Hey, they want a sequel. Even Margaret Mitchell wrote a sequel. War. They lost the war. Come on. But she still wrote a sequel. Any tips for him? Somebody who isn't doing rapid release, releasing every three or 4 months, that's perfectly fine. The hints, you got to up your marketing game. You just need to keep your books relevant, and those books have to be great. Every book you publish has to be great, whether you publish them every 3 weeks or once a year. You got to publish great books. So make sure your quality is up there, that they're proofread, that they're as good as you can possibly make them when you put them out. So every 3 or more, and then market. You got to learn to market if you're publishing every 3 to 4 months, because you lose that engagement with Amazon, where Amazon constantly keeps your name and your books in front of people. So 3 or 4 months, you have to do that manually through advertising, whether Facebook or Amazon or both, newsletter swaps. The best thing you can do is get people onto your newsletter, because then whenever you release a book, 3 months, 4 months, 6 months, it doesn't matter, because they're there waiting. Hey, people, here it is. And you send them a note every month and say, hey, this is what's going on. Here's my interesting life. Here's my interesting ideas, and books coming. So no need to release fast, because I don't do rapid release anymore, really, in that my best-selling series, I released 3 books in that series this past year. That's it. 3 books in a year. So that's one every 4 months. And it's okay. It's okay, because once they're on board. But my newsletter list is built up to over 11,000 now. And that's my moneymaker. When I drop that list, hey, here's the new book. Hit it with ads, hit it with promotions, hit it with follow-up, get people to engage on Goodreads. That's all great stuff. I don't do anything with the horror genre, so I can't give any advice there, because I just don't do horror at all. But there are some great people on 20 Books who do horror. Mark Leslie Lefebvre, he's big horror guy, big guy who does horror, and nice guy. It's weird, but I have no advice on horror, because I simply don't know. Besides, Stephen King is the king of horror and writes some weird shit. So. And some might say Jack Nicholson's best roles were in horror movies. So the thing, 20 books of 50K is a retirement plan. So it's not 20 books scraping by at $750 a day. It's, if they made a minimum of $750 a day every day for a year, then hey, you get about 50 grand, and that is way more than you need to live comfortably in Cabo, which is about 35 grand. You can live comfortably in Cabo San Lucas. So it's a retirement plan. Yes, we launch a book. A book is going to make way more than $750 in a day, especially as you're established, as you're more and more established. So 50K, it's not, hey, I want to make 50K. It's striving. It's 50K this is what we're looking for a retirement plan. But what can you do to do better? And that's what 20 books of 50K, the group, is about. What does it take to do a little bit better than yesterday? So people keep striving and striving, and folks that find traction launch past that 50K. And all of a sudden it's like, holy cow, I made 100K this month, and they don't know what to do, because success will destroy you every bit as much as failure. Failure you can learn from. Success, it's hard to take those lessons and repeat them month after month, because sometimes it takes a lot of work, and it's like, I'm successful. I don't need to do this much work. It's like you see people who are thin, and other folks say, well, they don't have to work out because they're thin. It's because they work out. So what do you do? Well, I stopped working out, and all of a sudden I got chunky again. And that's the same thing that'll happen with your book business. If you, I'm successful, I can relax now. Guess what? That's not how it works. That's I've served at higher levels in a lot of companies, and I'd see somebody get promoted, And they'd be like, good, leaning back in their chair. It's like, you don't understand. Every time you get promoted, that's more work, not less. So what is a good percentage of cost for ads would you suggest to a new author? For a newer author, I would suggest 10%. Shoot for 10% target. So if you're making $1,000, spend 100 as a target. And this is because you need to learn it first before you're starting throwing big bucks at it. I know people who are throwing $30,000 in ad money to make 65 or 70,000. It's like, well, they'd make 30 or 40,000. Yes, but that 30, they're spending 30,000 3 times before they get that money back. And that is what newer authors, it's like you need to manage your cash flow. So 10%, that is usually more manageable from a cash flow perspective. So you have to build your readership up, and it's going to be organic first. You're not going to put out a book and then all of a sudden, hey, ads, and hey, I'm a millionaire. Doesn't work that way. It's they need to find you. So you need to build that. It's the snowball. It starts off as a little snowball. You throw it down the hill and it rolls and turns into this big boulder. That's that rolling down the hill part is what you're doing to get up that 10% to start building and then understand what kind of cash can you spend 90,000 knowing that you're going to get 250,000 back or 180,000 even. But do you have it to spend? So you don't want to leverage something because you don't know you're going to get the payback until you actually find traction. So ads are something you really have to be careful with in how you spend your money. At what point do you decide whether a series is successful? Book 3, but generally by book 2, after book 2 is done and when book 3 is underway, that's the challenge, because if you get really low read through from book 1 to book 2, there's a challenge, there's a problem with book 1. And then it's like, oh, I'm going to invest this time in writing book 3 when I know book 1 isn't resonating. There's something wrong with it. So the series isn't taking hold. Then I would still give them book 3. Scrap it, move on. I figure a book is a month of my life. So 3 books, 3 months of my life. What is that worth? If I can rewrite book 1, whatever's wrong with it, and then I'll find some readers and ask them what was wrong with book 1. And sometimes it was just eminently unlikable characters. Situations were unrealistic. I've had a couple series that were that way, and it's like, okay, just set them aside. Don't advertise. They're just there. Every once in a blue moon, I might throw, hey, here's the whole complete set on sale for 99 cents. And I just don't want to disappoint my readers too much. And sometimes that happens. So that's 3 books. I wrap it up. I make sure that plot line is complete with those 3 books. I don't want to leave anybody hanging just in case they liked it. I know guys that will bail after the first book if the first book doesn't sell like they wanted, and they'll bail out. I don't want to do that because I want my readers to come on board. When I publish a first book, I want them to know that they're going to get at least 3 books if that's a series, and not that, hey, first book didn't sell, so I'm going to let all of you who read the first book, I'm going to leave you hanging because it just didn't sell like it was supposed to. I won't do that to my readers, and they know that. So they will pick up a first book without a second and third. So once again, I don't have to rapid release where, okay, they know they're going to get these 3 books because I'm the brand, and that's different. It's developed over 5 years. What is your advice on re-releases? Treat them like a new release. Go big. Go big. Yeah, just make sure up front, this was originally published as this. It has 10% new material. If you do a rewrite, if you don't, then this was originally published as this. If you bought it, then you don't need to buy this. But if you haven't, please jump on board. Here it is, $2.99, $4.99, whatever it is. Have a great story. So you can really bump up, and I would release them when you have a gap in your publication schedule. I have been impatient in the past. I've published 3 books on one day. I've got them ready, so here they are. Let me publish 3 books in one day. Give your readers a chance to digest, ingest, and enjoy your words. So just look for a gap, drop it, enjoy. As I think the Harlequins, those are probably standalones, if I'm not mistaken. Hit them as a new release, but make sure you put in that blurb previously released as, so you don't so you don't give your readers that you're trying to double dip from them. Okay, any other questions? All right. Hey, been a little over a half hour. Good job, folks. Thanks for coming on board. 44 folks watching. I appreciate it. Thank you. And coming to you live from the subarctic where it's dark and cold and will continue to be dark and cold. You guys have a great day. Thank you very much. And as soon as we know when Chuck Gannon will be back and will be technically viable, then we'll come back on. I'll let you know, and we'll do it. We'll do it then. Thanks, everybody.